There is an invisible current that flows beneath every great achievement. It is quiet, consistent, and often unnoticed by the world, but it is the true architect of destiny. This current is the power of habits. The invisible power of success habits takes us deep into this unseen realm, where small, daily choices carve the path of greatness, or the slow road to mediocrity. The author invites us to understand that success is never an accident, it is the inevitable result of the habits we build when no one is watching. The book begins by revealing a simple yet profound truth: we do not rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our habits. Our dreams, no matter how beautiful, cannot exist without the discipline of consistent action. Imagine a sculptor, his masterpiece does not appear in one stroke. It takes thousands of gentle, repeated motions, each guided by patience. Likewise, success is not born from one grand act but from the invisible, repetitive actions we perform each day. Every time you choose to learn instead of scroll, to move instead of delay, to speak kindly instead of reacting harshly, you are shaping your destiny in silence. The author paints vivid portraits of people who embody this truth. There is the story of a young woman who struggled with self-doubt, always feeling she lacked talent or luck. But when she began practicing one small daily habit, writing down 3 things she accomplished each evening, something changed. Her focus shifted from inadequacy to progress. Over time, she became a confident entrepreneur, not because she discovered a secret formula, but because she mastered consistency. The book reminds us that success habits are not about doing extraordinary things, they are about doing ordinary things with extraordinary consistency. As the chapters unfold, the reader is guided to understand the subtle architecture of habits. Habits begin as fragile threads of behavior, easily broken or ignored. But when repeated with intention, they weave into the very fabric of our character. The author explains that each habit has 3 elements: a cue, a routine, and a reward. This cycle forms the foundation of human behavior. When we become aware of this process, we can reshape even the most stubborn habits by altering the cues or the rewards that drive them. For instance, someone who struggles with procrastination often responds to the cue of discomfort, the fear of failure or overwhelm, by escaping into distraction. The reward is temporary relief. But when that person learns to reinterpret the cue, seeing discomfort not as danger but as a signal for growth, the entire pattern changes. Suddenly, the same cue leads to productive action rather than avoidance. The invisible power of success habits lies in this awareness, the ability to consciously direct our automatic behaviors toward meaningful outcomes. Another profound insight the book offers is that habits are the language through which the subconscious mind speaks. You may consciously want success, wealth, or happiness, but if your habits tell a different story, if you habitually delay, doubt, or complain, then your subconscious is silently programming you for failure. The author urges readers to align their habits with their higher vision, for the mind always obeys what it repeatedly does. One story that lingers is about an aging musician who practiced his instrument daily for over 50 years. When asked why he continued to practice even after mastering his art, he smiled and said, "Because the moment I stop growing, I start dying." His words capture the essence of this book, that habits are not just tools for success, but a way of keeping the spirit alive. Growth, discipline, and progress are not punishments, they are the music of the soul striving toward excellence. The author explores the emotional side of habits as well, the battle between comfort and growth. Every person faces moments when persistence feels meaningless, when the reward seems too far away. The book gently reminds us that the invisible power of habits is most alive in these unseen moments. The runner who wakes before dawn, the student who studies when no one else cares, the parent who shows up with patience day after day, these are the invisible heroes of success. Their consistency builds momentum, and that momentum becomes destiny. In one powerful metaphor, the author compares habits to seeds planted in the soil of time. Some seeds sprout quickly, while others lie dormant for years, hidden beneath the surface. But as long as the soil is watered with consistency, growth is inevitable. The message is clear: trust the process even when results are invisible. The invisible power of success habits works quietly, beneath the surface, long before the world notices your transformation. As the narrative deepens, the author addresses one of the greatest challenges of modern life: distraction. In a world that constantly competes for our attention, discipline has become a superpower. The book offers a deeply reflective idea. True freedom is not the absence of discipline, but the mastery of it. When you build habits that serve your purpose, you free your mind from chaos. You no longer rely on motivation or emotion, your habits carry you even when your feelings waver. This, the author explains, is the secret to unstoppable momentum. Throughout the book, there is a recurring theme of identity. We are not what we occasionally do, we are what we repeatedly do. When we create habits of integrity, gratitude, learning, or compassion, we are not just changing our actions, we are transforming who we are. The author encourages readers to shift from outcome-based habits, I want to lose weight, to identity-based habits, I am the kind of person who takes care of my health. This subtle shift creates lasting change, because it aligns behavior with belief. You no longer fight against yourself, you act in harmony with the person you wish to become. A particularly moving section of the book explores the emotional healing that habits can bring. A man who had suffered great loss began each morning by writing one kind letter to a stranger online. At first, it was just a coping mechanism, a way to find meaning. But over time, that habit became his light. It taught him that even in pain, small daily acts of goodness can restore the spirit. Through his story, the author reveals how success habits are not limited to career or wealth. They are the heartbeat of emotional resilience and inner peace. The book also reminds us that every habit we build affects the people around us. Our children, friends, and colleagues absorb our behaviors more than our words. A leader who shows up on time, listens deeply, and keeps promises inspires others to do the same. A parent who demonstrates patience teaches discipline without speaking a word. The invisible power of habits extends far beyond the self. It ripples outward, shaping families, communities, and even generations. Toward the end, the author invites us to reflect on the quiet dignity of ordinary people who live extraordinary lives through their habits. The teacher who prepares lessons late into the night, the farmer who tends his land before dawn, the artist who practices alone in a silent studio, these are the real architects of progress. The world may not celebrate their discipline, but it is their invisible power that sustains civilization. Finally, the book closes with a profound reminder. Every habit you build is either an anchor or a sail. Anchors keep you stuck where you are, sails carry you toward your dreams. The difference lies in awareness. The author encourages readers to audit their habits with honesty. Ask yourself, does this behavior pull me closer to the person I wish to become, or does it keep me drifting in place? Transformation begins the moment you choose to replace one small anchor with a sail. As the final pages unfold, the message becomes clear. Success is not an event, it is a rhythm. It is the gentle, unshakable rhythm of small, consistent actions guided by purpose. The invisible power of success habits is not loud or dramatic, it is quiet, patient, and faithful. And yet, in its quietness, it contains the force that builds empires, heals hearts, and turns ordinary people into legends. So, let us begin, today, with one small act done with awareness and love. Let us cultivate habits that reflect the greatness we already carry within. Because in the end, it is not the grand gestures that define our destiny, but the invisible power of the habits that shape our every day.